Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And, of course, everybody in the chat room, if you could, right now, like the video. That helps a lot. Liking the video gets this video recommended to other people on YouTube that like this kind of content. So, make sure you like the video. There we go. It's showtime.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane
of the United States, with so-called refugees that are people just coming here looking for the great American dream, all right? And that's, you know, that's what that's about. But we have real refugees from Cuba, and they're not letting them in. And there was a huge development yesterday that is going to really, something's going to happen here. It's going to be rough. It's going to be big. And we're about to enter a crisis phase coming up real quick. And you may have seen the story. Private Florida boaters, and we have more boats than people, I think, in Florida, but private boaters here in Florida are loading up their boats with relief supplies for the freedom protesters, the anti-communist protesters in Cuba, and they're taking their boats from Florida and going to Cuba and taking the supplies to them. And this is incredibly risky. I've known some people in regular times that have had their boats boarded by Cuba, even when they were in international waters. And we could very well be entering a major crisis here in Florida with Cuba. And these boaters, they're not, you know, some of them are nice-sized boats, but some of them are boats that you just go water skiing with on the weekend. I've seen some of these boats in our local news. Our local news here in South Florida is right on top of everything. I don't know how much you guys are seeing of this around America, but some of these boats are boats for like 4 people just to cruise around in at the beach on the weekend and have a good time, do some water skiing. Some of them are fishing boats. Some of them are cabin cruisers, but they're civilians, and every boat I've seen has a Florida registration on it. The Cuban government is not messing around here. And it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before the Cubans pick up a Florida boater. And what will Biden do? Probably look to get paid, right? Well, just pay me, Cuba, and we'll take care of it. Got a painting here from Hunter. It's $500,000. Why don't you buy one of those paintings? We'll see what we can do for you. But this is a very serious thing. A very serious thing. And the Cuban government, they are not playing games here. So it's just a matter of time. And those of you that are outside of South Florida, how much of this story have you seen? I know they're obsessed with Britney Spears on Fox. You know, Fox, the producers and some of these people, Britney Spears is, you know, their music generation. So they're just obsessed with Britney Spears. You know, who cares about Britney Spears? She's got $50 million. She'll be okay. If that's slavery, please enslave me. You know, I saw she was on vacation in Hawaii with her boy toy. She's a slave, Britney, again, bottom of the hour. How much have you seen about this flotilla of Floridians going to Cuba? And the Cuban patrol boats, they will stop someone, and they will arrest them, and they'll take them to Cuba. So when that happens, what will Joe Biden do? My guess is he'll do nothing. We're in a situation where we could have American hostages in Cuba. You know, if President Trump was in the White House right now, Cuba, that communist regime would be in its last days. And, while South Floridians, Cuban exiles, and, some of these people in these boats probably are originally from Cuba. So if they get captured down there, it's even going to be worse for them. Very scary what's going on here. What's Biden looking at? Biden's looking to bail out the communists down there. So what are your thoughts on this? I'd love to hear at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Here's one story. There's several stories about this. And I do think it's a more important story than Britney Spears. I don't quite understand why the mainstream media are not picking up on these stories, but it's pretty frightening. This is Associated Press out of Miami. The United States Coast Guard in Miami is monitoring any activity aimed at increasing unsafe and illegal crossings between Florida and Cuba in response to the street protest on the island. And by the way, when the AP is talking about, this is from WSVN and the Associated Press out of Miami, when they're talking about unsafe and illegal crossings between Florida and Cuba, they're talking about both ways now, remember. They're talking about people leaving Cuba to come to America. They're talking about people from Florida taking relief to Cuba. Coast Guard Rear Admiral Eric Jones issued a warning statement Monday night as groups of Cuban immigrants said they plan to travel in boats filled with supplies to Cuba to show support for the Cuban protesters. South Florida has the country's largest population of Cuban Americans. In Miami, Cuban social media personalities posted Monday that they would make the 10-hour boat ride to Cuba to show support after rare street protests broke out over the weekend. The influencer said they will bring aids and guns. Remember, they're an unarmed population. So we could very well have an American out of Florida stopped by a Cuban patrol boat, and they're going to have guns on board, which are illegal in Cuba. This is getting scary. The influencers, these are the Cuban exile influencers, said they will bring aid and guns and urge people in Miami to offer up their boats. One group gathered Monday night at Pelican Harbor Marina near Miami's North Bay Village. That's where the old WIOD used to be. And people brought cases of bottled water, flashlights, boxes of Chef Boyardee, water, food, medicine, whatever we can take to Cuba. Whatever we can take to help is good. And there's this one woman, Indiana Castillo. She's in a small pleasure boat with an American flags on the back of all these boats, by the way. She's loaded her boat with water and medicine. She's ready to go to Cuba tonight. She's waiting for more boats to come. And what they're trying to do is organize. This is like Dunkirk going on here right now. It's amazing. And what she's waiting for is some more boats. They're trying to go down in groups of 3 or 4 boats. They feel they'll be safer with 3 or 4 boats. Well, let me tell you something. When some communist Cuban patrol boat comes with a big machine gun on the bow, and you got a bunch of armed, brainwashed communists on board, you could have 3, 4, 10 boats. And some of these people, if they have guns, they may not surrender. There could actually be a gun battle on these boats. The group did not get very far on Monday night. A message posted on organizer Santiago Rivera's Instagram account Tuesday said the Coast Guard stopped his group from crossing the Florida Straits because of problems with firearms. See, they got guns, and they got stopped. He promised they would try again Wednesday with the permission of the authorities. The Coast Guard said permission would not be forthcoming and says that this voyage is dangerous and unforgiving, with nearly 20 Cubans dying while trying to cross in recent weeks. It said the Coast Guard is working with state, local, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. And Biden, while they've got the whole southern border opened up and just nonstop, just coming on up, what's going on right now by the United States government is very similar to a blockade. blocking people escaping and blocking people giving relief. And all this gives support to the communist. And there's a lot of reasons why. Of course, the Democrats' constituents are communist. So they don't want to do anything to turn them against them by coming out against the communist government of Cuba. But the big difference between the southern border illegal crossings and what's going on in Cuba, where these are real people that are facing persecution right now as we speak, is that Cubans vote Republican, and they hate Cubans for it. And the Democrats in Washington could not be any more open about what they're doing. They've all but said they're not coming in because they're Republicans. The other ones are coming in because they're Democrats. It's very obvious. I tell you, the Democrats are in a complete panic and meltdown because they see that this is the summer of Trump. They're seeing the rallies. They're seeing the rise of Trump. They know what's going to happen in 2024. Trump is going to be elected to his second non-consecutive term, which is going to be amazing. They've got chaos inside the White House between the Biden and Kamala camps. There's fear among the Biden crew that Kamala is going to invoke the 25th Amendment and make herself president. And she wouldn't have a difficult case to make with that, would she? She's got to get the majority of the cabinet to sign off, but once she comes public with things, that could happen in a minute. So there's conflict there. The Democrats are angry at Cubans in Miami because they don't give them the proper respect by voting for them. There's a revolution going on 90 miles south of Florida, 90 miles south of Key West, in Cuba right now, a freedom revolution. They're going around with American flags. Oh, man. If only Trump were in the White House right now, the Cuban government would be done. They'd have a month. It'd be over. It'd be over. Trump would be sending relief to these protesters, not to the communist government. All right, let's take our first break of this Thursday morning edition of Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Your calls are certainly welcome at 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
President Donald Trump here. When Melania and I put our heads down at night, it's on a MyPillow. And when we order MyPillows, we always use the best promo code KANE at checkout at MyPillow.com. That's KANE for huge savings. That's promo code KANE at MyPillow.com.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite. And they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect. So I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship.
Here, I just pinned in the chat room the link to my store with my shirts, and this is one of them. So I just put the link to this shirt. If you like it and want to buy, it comes in any color you want. I've got two, one in blue, one in black. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, everyone. And if everyone could like the video and share the video, that would be amazing. You know, liking the video helps get this video recommended on YouTube to other like-minded people. So if you could like the video, share the video, subscribe, and do all of that, it helps me tremendously.
Degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house.
Fort Lauderdale's where I grew up. My mother lives in Fort Lauderdale. I went to high school in Fort Lauderdale. Depends on what part of Fort Lauderdale you're in.
Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at
It comes in pink. Yeah, you can get it in pink.
his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to
Oh, hey, thanks, Christine. Yeah, I went to the beach this morning to have my morning coffee.
939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. There's a new story out about the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley. I call him General Milli Vanilli because he's fake, like Milli Vanilli, and he's a bad, bad guy. A bad guy. There's a story out there from another one of these Trump-hating books, but Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley feared Trump would attempt a coup, warned of a Reichstag moment, and said that President Trump was preaching the gospel of the Fuhrer. This is General Milli Vanilli. General Milley is a jerk, okay? He was out there bad-mouthing President Trump while he was still the commander-in-chief. He went against the commander-in-chief after they walked together across the street to the church that had been, burned down by Antifa. And after that happened, he made a video to the troops trashing Trump and apologizing for going over there with Trump. Are you kidding me? He should have been fired for that. It's against the military code of justice and conduct to voice an opinion opposed to the commander-in-chief, especially publicly like he did. And I bring this up because a lot of conservatives think that the military are good guys. Obviously, the rank and file are, okay? The servicemen and women in all of our branches, they're good people. But when you get up into the senior ranks, generals and admirals, and this may even be true of colonels because every colonel wants to be a general and every Navy captain wants to be an admiral. But these promotions at that level are all political. All political. They go through congressional committees. It's who you know to get the promotion and everything else. And the leadership of the military, this is not new. The leadership of the military is deep state. The leadership of the military is liberal. You can tell and what they care about is the status quo. So the people now, they've got to understand something. You know, Obama, think about this. Obama became president in 2008. It's 2021 now. It's a long time. It's a long time, isn't it? Yeah. Most of these generals that are running our branches, the generals and admirals that are running things these days, most of them, a huge chunk of them, moved up through the senior ranks during the era of Obama. Okay? Some of them, maybe are around from the Bush era, were at that level, but a huge chunk of them, and that's, the Bush people are screwing us too, but But a huge chunk of the senior officers came up through the ranks under Obama. And if you remember, the military was made very left-wing at senior levels during Obama. Remember the Fort Hood shooter, Major Nidal Hasan? Remember the story behind him? The Army major, was he a psychiatrist? He was a doctor. I think he was a psychiatrist, if memory serves. But before he was a major, he was a captain, and he was speaking on the East Coast to a group of fellow Army officers, trashing the United States and what was going on in the Middle East at this time, and it was very radical, jihadi-like comments. Not only did no one report him, this is Nidal Hasan, Major Nidal Hasan, the Fort Hood shooter. Not only did he not get reported, he got promoted from captain to major after that. Because that was during the era of Obama, and there was a big change going on. So those of you out there that think that the senior level, and I'm talking about the generals and the admirals, I'm not talking about rank and file service personnel, at that level, at those ranks, that's the generation of Obama. That's why they're bringing critical race theory to the rank and file. It's a brainwashing operation. What they're supposed to be taught to do is whatever role the military has, which I thought was a combat role. I know there's support people in the military, but they're supposed to be learning about those things, not critical race theory, which is what they're doing with the military, with the critical race theory to the lower level people in the military, the lower ranking people, is they're indoctrinating them into liberalism, to radical liberalism, and turning them against the people of this country. Okay? And the story about General Milli Vanilli here, referring to Trump as the Fuhrer and talking about a Reichstag moment and all this stuff, which would be the Capitol, I guess, this is mainstream thinking at that level. So if any of you out there in the MAGA movement, on the Trump train, think that the military leadership is behind Trump, you're not paying attention. Because they're not. And you know what? They weren't when he was commander-in-chief. Okay? So, I hear a lot of MAGA people thinking that senior military, are patriotic people behind Trump, we're behind Trump. None of that is true. There's a lot of psyops going on the left inside the MAGA movement to make you think things are different than what they really are. So, and it's not just this book that points that out about Milley. We saw him when he made that video while Trump was still commander-in-chief, apologizing for going over to the church. I mean, he really should have. It says here, in the days before the riot at the U.S. Capitol, General Milley confided to friends that he feared the U.S. was approaching a Reichstag moment. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, because we have some millennials out there, they don't know what the hell's going on, the Reichstag was the legislative house of Germany that burned down. Nazis burned it down, blamed the communists, and that's when the Nazis came in and took power. For him to make a comment about a Reichstag moment before the Capitol riot and shortly before the Capitol riot, that's very strange. Why would he make such a comment before the January 6th event? Well, I was watching Greg Kelly last night. He had an attorney on for one of the January 6th defendants, and this attorney that's defending him made some very good points to Greg Kelly. In fact, Greg Kelly was thinking like me. There's a photograph and video of this guy with a policeman's shield breaking a window in the Capitol. This guy's been in jail since. He's been denied bail. And his attorney told Greg Kelly last night that he has not even been permitted to speak in private to his client in jail, which means there's no privileged conversation, which is a violation of his civil rights. And Greg Kelly is like, well, what's your defense? There's the picture. There's video of him breaking the window. And what his attorney said is he's being held without right to have privileged conversations with his attorney. He's being denied bail for what amounts to vandalism, breaking a window. He says if you break a window anywhere else, commit vandalism like this, you're usually given a fine, which is the replacement of the window. But his client, so there's... But how did General Milley all of a sudden come to the conclusion prior to January 6th that there was going to be because of Trump, there was going to be a Reichstag-like moment? It's almost like he had some prior knowledge to something, isn't it? Oh my goodness. We're in a rough time right now, people. I don't know how much you realize it. What's going on in this country, what's happening in Cuba, what's happening here in Florida right now as a reaction to what's going on in Cuba. We had, with President Trump, the most competent person ever as President of the United States. Because he came from the private sector. And in the private sector, results are required or you're out of business. And what's happening right now in this country, we have not just weak leadership, we have incompetent leadership at many different levels, and we have them supporting very bad people. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, there's much more to talk about. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take our break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time over at the library.
Yeah.
I've been through this week Atlas Shrugged and Animal Farm.
Well, Atlas Shrugged, that would take like
It's
a year to read.
10.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just to listen to it.
Yeah.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So
Yeah.
new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000-mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate.
She did not read Atlas Shrugged in 3 days. There's no way.
On the east side of 441
There's no way.
State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. Homeowners, HOAs, and business owners, it's hurricane season. Storms are coming, and when they do, you need to be prepared. If your roof is old or compromised, call Tom Laporta for a free evaluation. And when a storm comes with high winds and hail, or projectiles at your building, call Tom Laporta first before you call anyone else, so Tom can evaluate your damage and give you the information and tools you need when you call your insurance company, so you can get the best results. Tom Laporta has the experience to help guide you through terrible times like these. So again, before you call anyone else when damage strikes, call Tom Laporta. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Online, LaportaContracting.com.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. 34 minutes after the hour, America in crisis. Floridians in private boats taking relief to the island of Cuba. Biden has closed down any escape from Cuba. If the Cuban secret police are looking to put you and your family without a trial in prison for the rest of your lives, you can't come to America. You're not welcome. Biden says so. When you get here, you may vote Republican, and they won't let you in. You have to somehow make it to Mexico first, and even then they probably wouldn't let you in if they find out you're Cuban, so you have to say you're Guatemalan or something. You gotta be from the southern border, from Central America, and claim a fake crisis is causing you to come here as a refugee, as opposed to the real one that we are seeing. And let me play something, because I had mentioned Obama. The American left will not criticize anything that's going on in Cuba. Let me play this thing with Psaki first. Psaki, I can't stand Psaki. She is so condescending, Pepper Ann. She's so condescending. Isn't she? Oh my goodness, she's condescending. So Steve Doocy is asking her about the situation in Cuba, and she's dancing all over the place. This is Psaki with Doocy yesterday, the White House press briefing.
And that's what these legislators are doing now.
And then just quickly on Cuba, the DHS Secretary Mayorkas is warning people there, if you take to the sea, you will not come to the United States. Why is that?
Well, first, I think it's important to understand the context of what the Secretary was conveying yesterday, which is just that it is still the case that it is not the way to come to the United States.
Oh, well, all of a sudden, there's a way to come to the United States that is legal. All of a sudden, there are rules and regulations on how people who speak Spanish come to the United States all of a sudden. Very interesting.
States is not through processes of trying to come to the border.
Oh, really? All of a sudden, the border's not open. All of a sudden.
Through an asylum process or coming by sea without going through an asylum application process.
Oh.
There are certainly...
well, it's hard to go through an asylum application process, Psaki, when the secret police are looking for you and your family in the streets of Havana. We don't have time for that. We'll be in prison or dead before we get the application to fill out from you.
Programs through which that some of them have not been reinstated, I should say, that were put in place by the Trump administration that are being reviewed, as he said yesterday. That would apply to the individuals and people of Haiti and the people of Cuba as well. Those have not been reinstated. They're being reviewed. That's what the Secretary said yesterday. What he was reiterating is that this is not the time to travel irregularly. It's dangerous. People can lose their lives as they have in the past.
And as the administration tries to figure out the root causes of migration to the country.
Now you're talking about Cuba here, Doocy.
Oh, that the reason people want to leave Cuba is because they don't like communism. And so as you're trying to figure out what...
Oh man, he said to Jen Psaki, they don't like communism. It's like it's like he's using profanity. She's got you can hear the tension in her voice when he says they don't like communism in Cuba.
Regularly, it's dangerous. People can lose their lives as they have.
Yeah, she said this is not the time to travel. You're to stay in Cuba and let the secret police bash your head in. It's not safe to not travel if you're in Cuba right now, Psaki.
The administration tries to figure out the root causes of migration to the country. Don't we know that the reason people want to leave Cuba is because they don't like communism.
Oh.
And so, as you're trying to figure out like what the processes are for these people who want to leave Cuba, just
I'm not sure what your question is.
Yeah, you are.
Why are people leaving Cuba, or what is the process for them getting?
Oh, you know exactly. You know, this is. You know, I can't stand this condescending attitude. What she's doing here, she doesn't know how to answer this. She's in trouble now because if she badmouths communism, about 2/3 of the Democrat base will freak out. Okay? So what she's doing here is buying time so that she can think of something to say. You know, remember during the Menendez murder trial, every time they were on the witness stand, the Menendez brothers, and every time they were asked a question they claimed they couldn't hear it, asked to have the question repeated, that was to give them a moment to think of an answer. That's what Jen Psaki is doing here.
Sure what your question is.
you guys.
Why are people leaving Cuba, or what is the process for them getting here? I can explain either of them, but you tell me.
Sure, yeah. Do you think that people are leaving Cuba because they don't like communism?
I think we've been pretty clear that we think people are leaving Cuba, or not leaving Cuba, or protesting in the streets all as well, because they are opposed to the oppression, to the mismanagement of the government in the country. And
the mismanagement of the government in the country. They're coming here because of the mismanagement of the government in the country. They're coming here because there's no freedom. Okay? They haven't had an election. They have not had a free and fair election since the commies came to power down there. And I was talking about this yesterday. Look at the protesters and the clothes they're wearing, and look at the clothes that the cops are wearing. It's like the different, you know, like George Floyd's family, they wear expensive threads now because they got all their settlement money that's supposed to be for his daughter. So George Floyd's girlfriend, she's in rags, right? Look at the protesters. They're wearing rags because they're so poor. You see the cops, they're well dressed and they don't the mismanagement of the government and the country. No, it's communism, Psaki. They don't like it. What a jerk.
Right to protest. We support their efforts to speak.
We support their right to protest, Psaki said. Don't you understand, Jen Psaki? She understands. They do not have a right to protest in Cuba. It is a communist dictatorship and police state. There is no right to protest in Cuba. That's why they're trying to come here, because they protested and now they're trying to lock them up for protesting.
Their efforts to speak out against their treatment in Cuba. I will say separately, an important question is also what happens when people are seeking protection, or what happens when they are attempting to flee. In the past, as I noted, we've had several humanitarian programs, such as family reunification parole programs for both Haiti and Cuba. Those were policies or processes that were in place prior to the Trump administration. Those have not been turned back on, as Secretary Mayorkas said yesterday. He also said we're assessing the status of those parole programs. Haitian and Cuban nationals in the United States with a fear of return to their home countries may be eligible for protection, such as asylum under U.S. law. Haitian nationals already in the United States may be eligible for temporary protected status. But migrants interdicted in the Caribbean who manifest a fear are referred to USCIS.
Who manifest a fear? Now, Cubans who now she's reading this part, who manifest a fear. Now, I may be wrong about this, but when I hear of someone manifesting a fear, to me that sounds like a hallucination. Like they've created this image in their mind that they should be fearful. Why would you be fearful in the workers' paradise of Cuba?
Already in the United States may be eligible for temporary protected status. But migrants interdicted in the Caribbean who manifest a fear are referred to USCIS for protection screening. That's what happens.
Oh.
Not manifest a fear, or who are not found to have a credible fear following the screening, are repatriated to their country of origin.
Oh my goodness. Their country. So she's saying they're going to send them back to Cuba? If they go back to Cuba, they're dead, Psaki. They're dead. And they're not hallucinating fear. Oh my goodness.
country of origin. Those found to have a well-founded fear of persecution or torture are not brought to the United States. They are referred to a third country for resettlement. I'm sharing all of that with you so people understand what the problem.
Can we resettle them to Mexico so they can walk across the border and be in the land of freedom?
When they're trying to make what a treacherous journey is and a challenging journey where people can lose their lives. But certainly, we have said many times, and I will reiterate here, that we support not just the role of protest and peaceful protest. We stand with the Cuban people in their call for freedom from both the pandemic and from decades of repression.
Oh my goodness, freedom from the pandemic. Yes, that's what this is all about. Libertad, COVID. Yeah.
And economic suffering to which they have been subjected by Cuba's authoritarian regime. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. And she was reading all that stuff at the end. Ducey did his best. Now, she's a very condescending person, and when someone's condescending, that really, I can't stand. That's like a pet peeve of mine. I've got other pet peeves. I'm not going to tell you what they are because then you'll use my pet peeves against me or try. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Mike Lindell and My Pillow. Oh, I gotta tell you something. You know, I sleep on that My Pillow mattress topper that I have on my bed, and I just sleep the whole night through so comfortably. It is wonderful. You know, we got this mattress topper because my wife was having back pain. We have a new mattress, pretty new mattress. We got that mattress topper because she was having back pain. One night on that mattress, she woke up, no back pain. It hasn't returned. And when you use the promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com, receive 30% off your My Pillow mattress topper and receive 2 free premium My Pillows. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the
checking my
care
messages.
they haven't seen their doctor, they
got a little bit of bad news, nothing major.
Call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep. Better
Steve Kane Show. Yep.
You call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. One of those days, people. All right, it is 48 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. It looks like a beautiful day in South Florida today. I was running very early to work this morning, so I got my coffee. If you watch on YouTube, you can see I made a little video of this. I went down to the beach, parked over on the ocean, had my coffee down at the beach. I'm still drinking it, but the beach is right down the street. It's amazing how many people go down to the beach at these early hours of the morning. All right, let's go to the phones. This is just a very, very troubling time we are in right now in America. I got to tell you, things were bad during Obama's presidency, but Obama was like Ronald Reagan compared to what's going on today. Huh? Good morning, Richie. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. You know how hard it is for these people to say the word communism and communist?
Well, what they can say is communism is bad and people don't like it. That's the problem.
The mismanagement of communism.
Yeah. If you manage it correctly, like we want to do in America, everything's perfect.
Yeah, because Bernie Sanders' form of communism would be a lot better than this form of communism.
Oh, yes. Yes, and AOC and all the rest, absolutely.
This wet foot, dry foot policy was put in there by none other than Barack Obama?
No. It was before Obama. They were doing wet foot, dry foot during Clinton's time.
And it was Bill Clinton that did it.
I think so, too. I'm not 100%, and I thought that policy was still in effect.
It is, but the problem is that if they, you know what they would look like if they intercepted a Cuban in the water right off the coast of Florida and turned them to communist Cuba? Then they'd really be in the crapper.
They'd be dead. You know, for those that don't know, because I haven't heard anyone bring this up in the media talking about what's going on in Cuba, but this wet foot, dry foot policy, if a Cuban sets foot, they catch them out in the ocean, Florida Straits. If they set foot on U.S. soil, they're in. And U.S. soil is defined as the deck of a U.S. flagged vessel, you know, which could be a Coast Guard vessel or just some guy out of Miami in his weekend boat that picks up a couple of Cubans in the ocean. Yeah, that means you're you know, on U.S. land, even if it's a U.S. flagged vessel, you know. And all of a sudden, that doesn't apply anymore. I don't know. I thought that policy was still in effect.
Well, you know, let's be honest, and with everyone out there, this is the reason why he said to them basically, not just don't come because it's dangerous. If we're going to send you back, basically, is what he said. And here's the deal: they all vote Republican.
That's why. That's the only reason. The only reason everybody's dancing around communism, and that's a factor. But the main reason is they hate Cubans because they vote Republican. They blame them for losing Florida time and time again, and they don't want more of them here. They couldn't be any more obvious.
Yeah, that's it. If all those people coming up from Mexico, the Mexican border of the United States, where we've got future Republicans that have alligators and that have machine gun guys on the border keeping them out. These people are devious. And you know what else they're doing, which is against the law, which really ticks me off? They're flying with U.S. Air Force planes and buses and everything else and settling all these people that are coming in on a daily basis to all red states. They found that out.
Well, but it's a classified military operation going on inside the United States, and I wasn't aware that the U.S. military ran classified missions inside the United States borders, but apparently they are now. And they've been moving the migrants from the southern border to places like Florida and other Republican states. Yeah, in secret, and they've even ordered all the military personnel are not allowed to take photographs or publicly talk about it. They've made it classified. It's somehow leaked out. Yeah, they're trying to turn the red states blue by flying the southern border migrants to these states and setting up shop there. Yeah.
Just the most devious.
Well, it's not just devious. I don't think they're devious. I think they're pretty open about what they're doing. They're sick, twisted people. I mean, basically they're saying is Cubans in Miami vote Republican. So those of you out there who are going to be murdered by the government in Cuba, you're screwed because we don't like Republican Cubans in Miami. They don't support us, so you're done. We're not going no aid for you. It's crazy. It's a form of political persecution by this government that I've never seen before. And this thing about Haiti, they keep mixing Haiti into it. There's two separate instances. I know they had this assassination in Haiti. I'm sure the guy was a creep. I mean, it's an anarchy down there in Haiti. It has been forever, and it's not the same thing. There's a revolution going on in Cuba right now. It's a much different thing, and there's a major persecution going on of the Cuban people. I'm sure by now most of you have seen the video that I talked about yesterday of the reporter being ripped out on the live report by the secret police.
I'm going to ask you, because you do see almost everything. Did you see Laura Logan last night, the last?
I did not see Laura Logan, no.
What happened was, she's from South Africa, and I don't want to change her subject. This has to do with the United States. She said it could happen here. She said it was, in other words, the guy who was Obama's ambassador to South Africa, he was a Soros man. He believed in reparations over there. What they did was they took land from the farmers, the white farmers.
Yeah, that's been going on for years. You know, South Africa, since apartheid ended, you know, it's been chaos down there. I remember the first president after oh boy, I just forgot his name. Who was the guy that yeah, I've forgotten his name now, you know, because South Africa is not on my... But I remember the first president after him, I can't believe I can't think of the guy's name. It's early, guys. Give me some slack. I remember there was a big AIDS crisis going on in South Africa at the time, and he didn't believe there was a connection between AIDS and HIV, which is, I mean, doesn't even make sense. So, you know, and it's been chaos down there ever since apartheid ended.
Looting looks just like Chicago. I gotta tell you. It looks just, looting looks just like Chicago, but they're in there stealing everything they can because they...
I really can't get interested in what's going on in South Africa. They've been stealing the land from the farmers for 20 years. It's terrible down there. It's third world. And I'm just not interested in South Africa. Laura Logan is, because she's from there, and it's not coming here. It's not coming here. It's not coming here. I mean, I know she feels that way because, you know, life's different in South Africa than when she was a kid. But it's, you know, what's happening in South Africa has nothing to do with us, and it certainly is not going to happen here. And it's hard to get concerned about that when we have the things happening in this country that are going on.
Trying to knock DeSantis too, by the way. The news media is saying that he's permitting these people out there to protest, even though his law just changed.
Yeah, I ordered one of those DeSantis T-shirts yesterday. Don't Fauci my Florida, and I know that all the news are talking about it now, and I'm really upset about that because it might make my shirt on back order. I ordered that shirt yesterday before it became a national story.
This terrible situation here. Hope the Cubans.
Well, what I would like to see Governor DeSantis do is get together with Ted Cruz, get together with Little Marco, get together with the entire Republican congressional Florida group and Cuban exile leaders, and have a major press conference in Key West at the southernmost point of the United States, 90 miles from Cuba, and talk about what the hell's going on here and how Biden, because these people are Republican, is allowing them to be imprisoned and killed down there because he doesn't want more Republicans coming here in his mind. And I'd like to see that happen very soon.
People out there, geography, you know, Miami to Orlando is farther away than Cuba to Key West.
That's right.
The people better wake up here.
I know, like if I was thinking about maybe going down to Little Havana or something over the weekend, but it's a drive down there and it could take hours, especially if they shut down the roads. I might do that if I can. Not to Little Havana, not for a while. I don't really go down to all that.
Hi, restaurant. Have you been to Versailles?
Oh yeah. Vizcaya. Yeah, it's beautiful, Vizcaya. It's a man.
Right, in Little 8th Street.
Oh, no, I've not. No.
Hey, Cuban food, man. That place is cheap and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, Cuban food is awesome. The Cuban food is great, man.
They own La Cartereta and everything over there. That's the.
It's in Little Havana. What's the name of it?
On 8th Street. Everyone knows it. It says the most famous Cuban restaurant in all of.
Oh, okay. Well, if I go down there, I'll stop in.
That's where all the demonstrations are.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Nelson Mandela.
There. Thank you very much, Nelson Mandela. How do we forget? Yeah, that's correct. Correct.
Hey, when he read the works of Thomas Jefferson when he was in jail.
Oh, sure he did. Yeah.
Very good guy, and now this.
Oh, really? He was a good guy? I mean, they were burning people up while he was locked up. They were burning people up, and remember, what do they call the thing when Mandela's wife, right, was leading the movement when he was in prison, and they would capture white people, and they would put tires over their whole body, and then they would light the tires on fire with the people inside. Those are good people. Yeah, maybe you need to rethink that. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM
Necklacing.
Money Talk Radio Network.
Is that what they call that with the tires?
Pompano Beach.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire, everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Attention seniors. Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
This is Scott from Company Robots. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now.
All right. Yes, we are back. Hour number 2 has begun. It's 3 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in the first hour, talking about some major new developments here in Florida in regards to Cuba. Floridians are taking their own personal boats here in Florida and loading them up with relief supplies, including guns, some of them say, and heading to Cuba. And this is getting very scary because we're moving into a situation where, the Cuban government is really cracking down hard. The Cuban government has arrested, it's being reported, over 5,000 people in Cuba. And these boats that are heading over there are doing this at great, great risk. And it's only a matter of time before one of them is stopped by the Cuban patrol boats and they take an American citizen into custody in Cuba. And and with a leader as weak as we have right now, the Cuban government would not waste any time doing what they want to do to that person. So what would, if one of these Florida freedom supporters, and if you look at I tweeted some articles on this. You can find some articles elsewhere too. It's starting to be reported now outside of just local news, but here in Miami. Some of these boats are really small boats that you would just go out and water ski in. These are and they're taking the trip, and they're going in groups of 3 or 4 boats together. What would Joe Biden do if the Cuban government captures some of these Americans and takes them to Cuba to put them on trial? By the way, unlike when we capture Al-Qaeda, the ACLU's right there waiting to give them a legal defense. There's no ACLU in Cuba. I don't think Biden would do a damn thing. He'd probably be pissed off if they went down there and did it. So what are your thoughts on that? 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And I want to play a couple sound bites here, just so you can get an idea. This is Barack Obama talking about his meeting with Raul Castro. Remember when he flew down there? Obama flew to Havana. Fidel's brother was the president then, and he made Obama go to him at the presidential palace and bend a knee, humiliating the United States. And Obama took part in that. Yeah, I know, a national humiliation. Not for this country, really. It's a humiliation for Obama. Still proud of the country, even though Obama embarrassed us. But this is Obama talking about the great Castro.
I think for your generation, you should be practical and just choose from what works. You don't have to worry about whether it neatly fits into socialist theory or capitalist theory. You should just decide what works.
Wow. Isn't that something? He's not done yet. Oh, if it's capitalist, if it's socialist, it doesn't matter. Just just whatever works. I know it just so happens that socialism and communism work best, but socialism, capitalism, just worry about what works.
Choose from what works. You don't have to worry about whether it neatly fits into socialist theory or capitalist theory. You should just decide what works. And I said this to President Castro in Cuba.
How can the man be president when they haven't had an election? They took over in '59. They never had an election. He was anointed by his big brother.
You don't have to worry about whether it neatly fits into socialist theory or capitalist theory. You should just decide what works. And I said this to President Castro in Cuba. I said, look, you've made great progress in educating young people. Every child in Cuba gets a basic education.
Wow.
That's a huge improvement from where it was. Medical care.
Wow.
You know, the life expectancy of Cubans is equivalent to the United States, despite it being a very poor country, because they have access to healthcare. That's a huge achievement.
Wow, what was he, president of Cuba or America? He's like, is he their PR guy? And of course, here's Bernie talking about Fidel.
You may recall way back in, 1961, they invaded Cuba. And everybody was totally convinced that Castro was the worst guy in the world. All the Cuban people were going to rise up in rebellion against Fidel Castro. They forgot that he educated their kids, gave them health care, totally transformed the society.
I guess Bernie is Obama's speechwriter. Oh my goodness. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. It's a toll-free call. No matter where you're listening to us, no matter where you're watching us from online, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
And,
hey, Rolanda. How you doing?
Listening at this, you shouldn't be surprised at Barack Obama. That's why I have no use for him. I really don't.
I don't know why you think I'd be surprised. I'm not surprised by much of anything.
That's one of the reasons why I'm sorry. I know people who revere him and Michelle. I'm telling you, even church people. It's one of the most embarrassing people. I was listening to Maria yesterday, and I'm telling you, she was talking about a pastor.
Oh yeah, it's the caller. Yes.
People in our community who revered them, they were nothing more than traitors. They were nothing more.
Well, let's get more relevant. I don't want to relive the Obama years. I just was playing a clip just to give you the mindset. So what happens? We've got a flotilla of Floridians, many of them Cuban exiles, okay, heading to Cuba with relief supplies on private boats. Some of them say they're taking weapons, guns. What would Biden do if the Cuban patrol boats picks up Americans and holds them prisoner over there? What would Biden do?
And it's not what Biden would do. It's what who's controlling this government will do. And we've got communists in our own government now. You need to face it. I've got to face it.
Yeah.
It's government right now. Okay? We have a news media that is Pravda. Okay? All the way. All right? This is what we as Americans...
Well, I'll tell you, Pravda, that was the national newspaper of the Soviet Union for you snowflakes out there. When I was talking a few weeks ago, when I went down to the building collapse, and I was trying to get as close to the site as I could, and all the reporters, the national reporters, were about a mile away, sitting in their air-conditioned cars, waiting for the press release from the city of Miami to be given to them. They don't even ask questions on minor things anymore. They just wait for the government press release.
Yeah, there's no such thing as investigative reporting anymore, reporting with their own mind anymore. These are snowflakes, full of soy milk or whatever they call them. The ones who are men.
The soy boys, yes.
Yeah, full of tofu. They don't have any mindset.
When I go to Starbucks, they don't ask me this anymore because they know. But they used to ask me if I get cream in my coffee. They used to ask me if I wanted soy milk. I don't want any of that. I don't need any female hormones.
And that's what we have now, Brian, unfortunately. But the bottom line is, Brian, if those people are doing what you say they're doing,
it's in the news.
They're dead.
Oh yeah.
But they better understand this. If they get caught, they're dead.
I mean, Jen Psaki has basically said, she doesn't say the exact words, she dances around it, but what they've said is Cubans vote Republican and we don't like them, so they're screwed, and their families in exile, they can go to prison and be killed down there. They shouldn't be voting Republican down there in Miami.
Yeah, she's one of the instruments of propaganda. As far as I'm concerned, she may as well be a part of it. A part of propaganda. Any so-called press secretary that needs the questions ahead of time, I have no respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be able to do that on your feet. But see, when you're lying, when you're cheating, that's what Biden is doing in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, I can't disagree with you on anything so far. Rolanda's right on point. Jen Psaki is my least favorite person in the Biden administration. Maybe because we see her every day. Good morning. You're on the radio. Yes, Andre. What's up?
Yolanda, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And I'm only surprised that Jen Psaki is your least favorite person in the Biden administration because I have a whole list of them.
Well, I don't like any of them, but I don't like condescending people. She's always got her head bit to the right, looking down, and she's always got this smirk on her face every time she's asked a question. I don't. It's just those are just pet peeves of mine.
When she's asked a question by Peter Ducey, and is asking questions, she's totally cool with that.
Oh, yes.
So I agree with you. I think if these people get caught, Biden will do absolutely nothing because Rolanda spoke the truth right into existence. We have a communist government now, and the faster Americans get it, the better off we're going to be.
If Trump were in the White House right now, the Cuban government, the communist regime would be done by the end of the month. And the relief wouldn't be going down on 4-seated boats out of Miami. They'd be going down there on U.S. naval vessels.
Do you know why that is? First of all, because Trump is not going to bend the knee to communist China, and that's why Biden's really not speaking out about it, because he's owned by China. We're owned by China right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say it, but that's where they're at. That's why. It's not AOC, it's not Bernie Sanders, it's because the Democratic Party is owned by China.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have this done if Trump were in office. This whole thing would be done by Friday.
Oh, yeah.
By Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Put the military in, and that would...
You know, there's not a complete embargo against Cuba. There's an embargo of sorts, but when they say that there's humanitarian trade that goes on, that does not mean just medicine. There are businesses that do business with China. With Cuba. And if Trump were in the White House, Cuba would be completely shut down. I mean, basically, Biden has put up a blockade to protect the Communist Party down there. You can't. He's not allowing those who are escaping into the United States. He has the Coast Guard patrolling by airplane to find them and rat them out and turn them back into Cuba. Jen Psaki said that they'll return some of them to Cuba. That's a death sentence.
Do you really think that they have problems with political hostages? They clearly do not. And you know what? This is the largest blemish on American history and the whole history of our country.
See, this is the thing. This is the thing with them. It's not so much that they're communist, the Democrats. They are. But they're afraid of a mass exodus from Cuba to Florida will take away any chance they have of winning Florida in the future. You know, Florida is, believe it or not, still a battleground state. It's a toss-up state because we've got a couple of liberal counties. I live in one of them, but they always blame the Cubans in Miami, the Democrats, when they don't win Florida. They hate them, and they're afraid of a mass exodus from Cuba here will firm up Florida as a red state by 2024, and that's why they're doing this, because they may be Republicans in the future. They're letting them sit there and be killed and imprisoned and be violated in all kinds of ways. You want to talk about police brutality? Go on Twitter and look at what's going on down there.
Oh, I've seen it. It's nauseating. It's nauseating.
And they're not being beaten because they passed counterfeit 20 in a convenience store like George Floyd. I mean, they're being beaten because they're just saying freedom and liberty.
They're rebelling against the government. They don't want this government. Much like Americans don't want communism.
And when Psaki says, well, we support their right to protest, they do not have a right to protest, Psaki, down there. I think she's drinking gin and sake.
I just think, I think this is the most disgraceful and yet again the most poignant inflection point in this country, because even like Greg 2 and all your liberal callers, where are they?
Yeah, Greg 2 slipped yesterday, didn't he? Greg 2 slipped. Started trashing Trump, and all of a sudden our fake MAGA guy, he got busted yesterday. I busted him. Slipped. So what do you think? So if the Cubans pick up some of these Americans in their own private boats heading from Florida to Cuba, what do you think Biden will do if the Cuban government picks up a boatload of Americans? What do you think Biden will do?
First of all, I don't think that he'll do anything, and even if these people are killed en route, he won't do anything.
American citizens? So if an American citizen, and if you see these boats and these flotillas, they're all registered in Florida because they have the numbers on the side. So if a boat registered in Florida, filled with American citizens, has 4, 5, 6 guys in it, they get picked up, you think Biden will let them face trial in Cuba? Do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what else I think he'll do? I think if people make the journey to Cuba and come back to America safely, I bet you he'll have the police, the federal law enforcement arrest them.
For illegally going to Cuba with relief to the Cuban people. And notice how some of these, now in the first stories with the Floridians that are going down there in their private boats, in the first stories they told you exactly what they were doing, and the one since they cleaned it up, right? I read one in the beginning. The first story they said we're bringing food, medicine, supplies, and guns. And guns. Now that when they interviewed them since then, they leave out the gun part, okay? But and guns, and that's Biden will probably, when they return, bring them up on federal gun charges.
Exactly.
They'll be gun traffickers. They'll be tried as gun traffickers.
Exactly. But I would like to make a statement about Barack Obama and his visit with Fidel Castro. So, you know what those children didn't get? Those children did not get food. They did not get clothing. They did not get shelter. They were enslaved by the communist schools to be indoctrinated. And those very people that were indoctrinated are right in the streets right now saying the system doesn't work.
That's right. Well, listen, I got to take a break, Andrea. Thanks for the call. It is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. You've heard Dr. Mitch Matez and Steve Kane's wife Lori talk about their COVID testing at Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. I've been tested too. So is Steve Kane and his son Tyler. Today on the radio, Rabbi David called in. He felt that he was getting sick and wanted to get tested for coronavirus. So he went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Go to Rabbi David. Hey, Rabbi.
By the way, you might hear congestion in my voice. I actually had a lot of congestion. I felt a little sick, and of course, I get nervous that, is it COVID or not? My wife also. So guess what we did? I listened to you. I went down to Any Lab Test Now yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. Went right in there. They put a little tiny thing, you didn't even feel it in my finger. Literally 10 minutes later, not a second more, they came back and said, you're fine, negative, great. We went on our way, and we just, not even worried. So
that $69 price is just for Steve Kane Show listeners. You got to mention that, and it's that little finger test. You get it real quick. I'll tell you, any anytime somebody has any type of congestion, all of a sudden there's anxiety sets in, not just for them, but everybody around them. It's best just to go in and get the test, say, I don't have the COVID. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with all the wonder.
And they give you a piece of paper. So yesterday, I actually walked around with it. When people heard, oh, you don't sound so good, I take out that piece of paper and I said, I was tested right here. And I pick up the piece of paper and showed it to them that says negative. And any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs, they're good people, and we're very lucky to have them. They're very caring and full of information. First we had a doctor recommendation from Dr. Mitch Matez. Now we have a rabbi. Rabbi recommended any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs for your COVID testing. Yeah, that's great. Rabbi recommended. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Rabbi recommended by Rabbi David for COVID testing. Rapid coronavirus testing, just $69. But you have to mention you heard them on the radio. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza where the Western Beef is. Their number, 561-237-5009. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All righty, back to our very busy phones. Some great calls today so far. Yesterday, not so great. We had a lot of calls yesterday. A couple of low limes made it through, but that's okay. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. The founder of the 1619 Project, if you're on hold, stand by. Let me get a couple things out before I go back to the phones. The founder of the 1619 Project, which of course is what critical race theory is all about, she's weighed in on things. Listen to this. This is the founder of the 1619 Project. Now, for those of you that don't know, this critical race theory is all around the 1619 Project. The United States, of course, was founded in 1776. And what the critical race theory supporters want to do is change the founding of this country to 1619, because that's when they have recorded that the first African slave was brought to the New World. Of course, there was no United States until 1776, and the revolution was still going on for several years after that and all of that, but they want to redefine the founding of the United States as 1619. That way they can get their reparations, because people say, wait a minute, slavery was already here. We ended slavery. Oh no, 1619. That's when it really was founded. Listen to this. This is the founder of the 1619 Project.
See, the most equal, multiracial, it's not a democracy.
Oh, yeah. See, okay. Now, she wants, what she's talking about here is if you want to find a utopia, she's doing an interview. If you want to find a utopia where all the ethnicities are equal, where there's total equality, listen.
The most equal multiracial country in our hemisphere, it would be Cuba.
Oh.
Cuba has the least inequality between black and white people of any place really in the hemisphere. That the Caribbean, most of the Caribbean, it's hard to count because the white population in a lot of those countries is very, very small. They're countries run by black folks, but in places that are truly, at least biracial countries, Cuba actually has the least inequality. And that's largely due to socialism, which I'm sure no one wants to hear.
Yeah, so I mean, what does that actually imply for us? I mean, if you're a candidate running and you want to have a genuine integration agenda, like what might that look like? Like, what do you think could work?
Communism, socialism, she just said it. Okay, now, this critical race theory is going to be such an issue that President Trump runs on in 2024, right to victory. I mean, Common Core. My wife was talking to one of her friends this week, and they have kids in school here in South Florida, and they're still learning Common Core. I thought we ended Common Core in Florida, but they're still teaching it, at least in these classrooms. So this critical race theory is at every level of American society right now. Did you see the National Federation of Teachers? They have said that they will back the legal defense of any teacher who teaches the truth about America in the classroom and is penalized for it. The truth. Isn't this interesting? They're the deciders of what's truth now. which means critical race theory is the truth. And you got the 1619 Project here. We've got the military, we've got the Pentagon ordering our military to be trained in critical race theory, which is an effort to turn them against the country. And then there's a little story today I read in the Jerusalem Post. Oh man, any of you read the Jerusalem Post? You should. You're not going to find out what's going on in America in the American media. Yeah, you know, my wife's friend, she was, the reason this came up about Common Core in her kids' classroom is she can't help her kids with the math homework because the Common Core makes math impossible. She doesn't understand the Common Core math. I've heard other parents talk about such things. But, you know, I couldn't do the old math, quite frankly. It was one of my weakest subjects in school. But, yeah, so they're still doing Common Core. But anyway, I read the Jerusalem Post. A lot of people give me a hard time because I read the Daily Mail. Daily Mail's liberal. Well, how else am I going to find out what's going on in America? I have to read the Jerusalem Post. I have to read the Daily Mail out of the United Kingdom. I can't find out what's going on in the United States reading American news. As sad as it is. Listen to this. Jerusalem Post. The United States State Department has invited United Nations experts who investigate racism and minority issues to conduct an official visit to the United States. Responsible nations must face scrutiny of their human rights record. Rather, they should acknowledge their human rights record with the intent to improve it, says the Secretary of State, who urges all members of the United Nations to join the United States in this effort. We are going to confront racism. We are going to confront racial discrimination and xenophobia, he said. The United Nations Human Rights Council was inspired to do this after the murder of a black man, George Floyd, by a Minneapolis police officer last year. So now they're going to investigate the United States and the systemic racism. You know, they've got this talking point about Ashley Babbitt, that her shooting was justified. Her shooting was justified because she was breaking the law. She was completely, she was breaking the law. She was trespassing. She was maybe committing vandalism. I don't know, but she was trespassing. Since when is trespassing and vandalism a situation where police officers use deadly force? Why didn't that cop use a stun gun? Why didn't he use mace? Why didn't he use his hands? Why did he have to use deadly force for trespassing and vandalism, maybe? You know, if that shoot was justified of Ashley Babbitt because she was breaking the law, well, what about Michael Brown? What about George Floyd? Why are these not justified? These are good questions. These liberals with their talking points. Did you guys catch Greg Kelly last night? He had a great segment last night on January 6th. You know, only Biden would invite the United Nations to come and investigate human rights abuses inside this country. We're the ones that go elsewhere. We do the investigation of human rights abuses. We're not committing human rights abuses in America. See, what's happening here is this. Biden's checked out. They don't expect him to be able to run again. They know that Kamala is disliked even among Democrats, don't like her. Remember Kamala's approval rating was, when she dropped out of the presidential race, was less than 1%. She's not even liked among Democrats. And the women, they hate her. Women do not like women who sleep with married men. So she's not electable. She's disliked by even Democrats. Biden is too checked out and feeble. They're not sure he'll be able to run again. So they have a brief window to accomplish all their crap. So they're moving fast. They're not stopping. They're going. They're trying to get everything done they can all at once. They're making their big move, the Democrats here. Because time is limited. They see the summer of Trump. They see the Trump rallies. Okay? They see the Trump rallies. They see the tens of thousands of people lining up for him in the rain to see him and not leaving during the rain. 50,000 people in Sarasota a couple weeks ago. You know? They see how many millions were watching his rallies recently, and they know they're in trouble. So they only have a brief window. So they're doing everything at once, because this is it. This is a one-term administration that they got right now, and they know it. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 32 minutes after 6. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break and be right back after this. Do not go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for now, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we can save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Andrea, $5 super chat. Thank you. DeSantis is going to supply Cuba with internet. Oh, good.
Find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free MyPillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin?
Hey guys, make sure that you like the video if you don't mind. Like and share. That like helps a lot, okay? That like tells that's why I talk about liking the video so much. The like is what tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to other people that are like-minded like us. And that's how new people find us, okay? And make sure you're subscribed too. But liking that video is so important.
Nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on
We're back.
Radio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. Steve is back. Took a day off yesterday. What's going on, Steve?
Same old.
Oh, nothing. Had a good day off, I hope. You had a good day off? No? Okay. All right. Oh, that's awesome.
Stuff.
That's good. I was just reading this article during the break, which is frightening. And so I'd be prepared to be frightened. You know, a lot of people think that the Chinese Communist Party has a little too much influence over the United States, you know, and I certainly agree with them. Listen to this. This is at the nationalpulse.com, which is a very good online news source. Several U.S. federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, have served as visiting professors at the Chinese Communist Party-run Peking University. So, and by the way, this Peking University has been investigated by the FBI in the past, and people like Supreme Court Justice Alito have spent time living and working and teaching at this Chinese Communist-backed university and law school. And it's in China, by the way. It's actually in Peking. It's not like the University of Peking, you know, Toledo. It's like in China. I did not realize we had Supreme Court justices and U.S. federal judges going to China to do this.
But that scares you.
Well, that the Chinese Communist Party, we knew, has major influence over our government, right? They got that $1 billion deal with Hunter Biden, who's the son of Biden. So that tells you. We had the one Democrat, Swalwell, who was busted sleeping, having a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy. We got Dianne Feinstein, who for 20 years had a Chinese spy working as her personal assistant in her office, access to all of her classified documents.
It's all right when you say you're scared or that we should be afraid of that. So just
these are all Manchurian candidates, literally. They're all working for... The Chinese have bought the political establishment. Mitch McConnell's wife is from one of the most wealthy, most prominent Chinese families. The Chinese gave Mitch McConnell $15 million, according to Peter Schweitzer. The Chinese Communist Party is basically running this country in many ways. Biden works for him. Yeah, it's pretty scary. It's very scary. It's one of those things you kind of like don't want to know about. You know, and if you look at a lot of the crackdowns they're doing on social media, and like there was a story a couple days ago, Biden wants to start monitoring people's personal text messages now. They're going to start doing that, which means they're probably already doing it. All these things they're doing with crackdowns in this country, they've been doing in China for years, and now they're doing it here all of a sudden. So, yeah. No, Chinese Communist Party is basically running the United States today. I mean, it's just the reality.
I wish I could share your concern. I mean, I think China's a problem. Don't get me wrong. And I think they do represent a danger. See, my fantasy ends at the end of that thought, that's why I can't wait for Trump to get back in, because he can handle the Chinese. And until Trump's back, we're gonna be
screwed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Look, you're complaining about the Supreme Court, but the last two decisions that came down from the Supreme Court at last, decisions, and they were important decisions.
Yeah.
The election and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think we're still in the ball game with them. This is.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a little. They just told me you're a little off mic, Steve. So you got to get closer to the mic, or get the mic closer to you. And no, it's the same as it was before. But you're a little low. I've got your pot all the way up as far as it'll go, and they're telling me it's not high enough. You know, I saw this story, in Chicago yesterday. The Mayor Beetlejuice over there. This defund the police thing is getting very out of control in Chicago, and this is now going to be an official part of 9/11 response, 911 calls. Mental health professionals will be dispatched to 911 calls in Chicago instead of cops, following defund the police reports, as gang members now outnumber the number of officers in Chicago 10 to 1. because of the mass exodus from the force. And you know, these police officers that you hear that are retiring from New York or Chicago, they're not retiring to Florida. They retire from that department, and then they get another job at a department that's not into this woke defund the police nonsense, right? So it's not like they're retiring to go fishing in Florida. But so if you got a home invasion in your project in Chicago, or you're carjacked, or you're robbed on the street, or they try to lynch you like Jesse Smollett, you call 911 for life-saving armed response from police officers. They're gonna send a therapist over, and when they get there, I guess they're gonna talk to the guy with the gun to your head. They're gonna talk to him about his parents or something and do a therapy session. It's bizarre.
A little bit different perspective than you do on that. I like what's going on now. I think we may have turned the corner on this violence thing, because people all of a sudden seem to recognize it as a threat. Better late than never, I guess. And I think the Democrats are really in trouble. I think they have until the election, which is...
Oh my gosh. I guess I'm a little less than a year and a half away. Oh, you mean since the last election? The next one's a year and a half away. A little less than that. The midterms, yeah. The midterms are a year from November. A year from November are the midterms. Yeah.
Straighten out the violence issue, or if they don't, if this continues to deteriorate as it has been deteriorating, Democrats are in big trouble. They could really trounce. That's the first step in straightening out the country.
Yeah.
So, you know the old saying, it's going to get worse before...
That's true. Now listen, just the other day, you took your son Tyler's car up to Champaign Automotive Repair. Well,
they did.
And, well, anytime you got a car, it needs maintenance. And I'll tell you this. Steve and I were talking about this the other day. Steve and I got together, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday, and it was the first time I'd seen you since you had gotten the AC fixed in Tyler's car. And when we met in a parking lot, and when you rolled down the window, I got a blast of that ice cold air that came out of your window and hit me. Yeah, yeah. And I put my hand over the air conditioning vent, and it was ice cold. I couldn't believe it, because his car, Tyler's car, has over 100,000 miles on it. It's been through a lot. And I was telling you, Steve, I was like, I don't know, an air conditioning repair on a car that old, you might want to think about getting Tyler a new car. And man, was I wrong. They did such a great job. That air conditioning was running like the day it drove off the showroom new. And it was pretty impressive. I really was. And I'll tell you a thing about it. I know a little bit about cars, not a lot, but I know a little bit about cars. And I suspected it needed a new compressor, which is what it needed. But typically, you take your car into these shops that do not tell you that they'll never do a repair you don't need. They'll tell you need a compressor, you need this. Oh, we found a leak in the system. They tell you everything under the book, because the air is not working. It was blowing hot air. That's not what they did at Champaign Automotive Repair. It needed a compressor. Boom, they did it at an incredibly low price, and it's working showroom new in a car with over 100,000 miles on it. Listen, no matter what repair you need, stop by Champaign Automotive Repair in Boca. We have listeners that drive over an hour each way because their prices are great and they're so honest. The number, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. All right, we'll take our break and be right back after this. Do not go anywhere.
The owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in
Steve Kane Show.
roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
President Donald Trump here. When Melania and I put our heads down at night, it's on a MyPillow. And when we order MyPillows, we always use the best promo code Kane at checkout at MyPillow.com. That's Kane for huge savings. That's promo code Kane at MyPillow.com.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point?
Wasn't that nice of President Trump to record that commercial for us?
When you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences, up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Sole Authority. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoleauthority.com. That's TheSole authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we are back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. This is Ken from Hollywood.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, a couple of quick things. One, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Marco Rubio's speech. I think it was yesterday. Listen to that about Cuba. It was really moving. I know you're not a real big fan of his, but...
No, I don't like Marco. I don't like little Marco at all. You know, Marco Rubio, a lot of people don't know this. He's a southern border amnesty guy, you know. Yeah. He doesn't talk about it as much these days, but he's a big amnesty guy.
Well, he talked about the harms of socialism and what's going on, and it's really amazing. It should be played in every college and high school.
Oh.
Anyway, the second thing is, I wanted to call just to let you know that I had Tom Laporta over. I heard your ad for many months. Couldn't find a roofer. It was a nightmare. I had a couple of guys rip me off. He was great, real pro, called me right back. We hit it off on the phone. He sent his supervisor Casey over. Great guy. I could not be happier. Everyone told me I need a whole new roof at $35,000-$40,000. He said, no way. It's a couple minor repairs, $2,000. He fixed everything up. Great spot.
Well, you know, that's an interesting thing you said, because, you know, you've had other roofers come out to your house, tell you you needed a whole new roof. Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting came out and said you just needed repairs. That's a humongous savings. You know, one of the many things we look for in sponsors on the Steve Kane Show is honesty.
Deal, and I'm the president of my association, so I'm always getting asked, and I never know who to recommend, but he is on my list. In fact, I am even inviting him out when we have our meeting to talk to the residents and just, you know, talk about this.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
Tom, and the other thing is he's a general contractor, so he does more than just roofs. He does a lot of stuff, and very reasonably priced, and is honest.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Out there, we try to, of the specialties that people need in their day-to-day existence. We try to get we recommend, you'll notice we use a lot, if not all.
Every one of our sponsors is being used by Steve, me, or both of us. Yeah.
If I need something, like, for example, the next step in our project here is flooring.
Ah.
Tile and carpet and all that kind of stuff. And we'll find somebody that I would use myself.
Yeah.
Because that's how the only...
No doubt about it. Well, listen, I appreciate you giving us the call about Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting, and so you got a condo association, did some work over there. That's wonderful. Appreciate it. Take care. Absolutely.
I mean, not to mention.
Yeah.
The Steve Kane discount I got was amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's great. That's great news. Yeah, that's great news. All right, let's see here. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Absolutely. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian. This is Janita Joy over here in Clover, South Carolina.
Hey, South Carolina. What's up?
I have troubles again. I wake up to look at MSNBC saying...
Well, I was talking about this in the first hour, and shame on you. You don't set your alarm clock at 5:55, so you got the rate, so you're tuned in at 6. That's okay. That's okay. I give you one little. You get a pardon for today. But no, what General Milley? There's a new book out, and General Milley, prior to January 6th, prior to the breach, said that he compared Trump to Adolf Hitler, and said that there will be a Reichstag moment with Trump. That was before the breach, before January 6th. He said that. What a strange thing to say prior to the breach. It's almost like he had prior knowledge of something.
I'm so scared. What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, this thing with General Milley, this is a big deal because he made these comments. They haven't said the date. Okay, I didn't see a date connected to it, but it was prior to the event. And that comment about there's going to be a Reichstag moment is so far out of left field that it cannot be a coincidence. It's a very strange comment that he made. Yeah.
Concerns me, and they're obviously a segment who are.
Yeah. Yeah. Or freedom, or America. Yeah. Yeah.
Finish my sentence and then you can go back. I suggest everybody out there, because there are so many parallels between the film 7 Days in May with Frederick March and who else is in?
Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster.
Incredible movie, and it depicts exactly the conflict we're talking about, where there is a small group of people in the military who are interested in deposing the power of the president.
Yeah.
It's harrowingly frightening.
Well, it's not a small group. It's all the generals. I mean, they're leftist establishment people.
If you look at the movie again, I think you're right.
Well, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the real life, the real life, not the movie. And this thing with General Milley, where they say Trump did this coup thing. If Trump organized a coup, would he have it led by that lunatic in the Viking hat?
No, absolutely.
I mean, if you look at the crew of losers that were leading the charge, that's not the kind of people that Trump would hire to do such a thing. Yeah, and another thing about this insurrection that I cannot say enough. I learned this about 2 weeks ago on Newsmax TV. I did not know this. there has not been one person charged with insurrection. All these people, there's 500 arrested. None of them have been charged with insurrection. Yeah, well, just the cop that killed Ashley Babbitt. So how can you have an insurrection if you don't have any insurrectionist? It's hard to have an insurrection. If that's what happened, they would be charging them with treason and insurrection, and they haven't charged any of them with those crimes, any of the 500. So no insurrectionist, no insurrection. You can't have an insurrection without insurrectionist. And by the way, what insurrection in history have the people walked in and then walked out like an hour later, half hour later? You know, I mean, it was certainly trespassing. There was vandalism, but that's not an insurrection.
No. And besides, if Trump's people and supporters in one...
All right, now I kept her on 1 second too long. But should have let her go before. No. But, you know, the reality situation is this. I mean, if Trump organized something, it wouldn't have been led by the guy with no shirt on with the Viking hat, the Grand Poobah. I mean, give me a break. I mean, that's just absurd on the face of it. I do have one clip, though, that's related to that. I wasn't going to play it, but I will play it. This is Jim Acosta on CNN talking to Fredo yesterday.
Donald Trump, I think it is very clear, and it is coming out in these books and is becoming more clear, between November 3rd and the January 6th insurrection.
See, the insurrection, without insurrectionists, right?
Attempting to carry out an administrative coup, if not a bloody coup at the Capitol on January 6th.
A bloody coup with no weapons, where the people peacefully left.
And the question I think we all have to come to grips with at some point is what should be done about it. And I think, arguably, Donald Trump committed crimes on the way to January 6th. Is anything going to be done about it? Why have we not had this conversation in this country? I think it's a critical question, Chris, whether or not the former President of the United States belongs in the slammer for what he did between the election and January 6th.
Yeah, he belongs in the slammer. Oh, my goodness. A bloody coup without weapons, an insurrection without insurrections. Just Ashley Babbitt's, who was completely unarmed. She was trespassing, maybe committing vandalism at the same time, but the last time I checked, those aren't death penalty crimes.
You don't see the pertinence of what's going on in South Africa. I was watching, U.S.
One American News.
I'll get it one of these days. And there are real parallels between what happened in South Africa and here. We're in a different...
Really?
Watching that lady you talked about, who was on television talking about the parallels of South...
The woman that was sexually assaulted by the Muslims, Laura Logan.
Laura Logan, who is very good, but she's from those parts, and she was saying there are parallels to what's going on now and what went on in the early stages of the problems that they've got now in South Africa, and
I don't know. I don't really see it. Laura Logan's, she's from South Africa, so she's got
I'm comparing in my mind. The reason I say that, I watched the film, and it looked a lot.
Well, I think Black Lives Matter would like to take to the streets and take property away from white people and give it to blacks. I think they would like to do that, but I don't see what's happening in South Africa happening here, where armed gangs with machine guns come and take your farm away and things like this. I don't see that.
It's at a different stage. There's no question.
Oh yeah.
Logan's message is that by understanding the South African thing, maybe we can avoid problems that resulted from the mishandling in the example of South Africa.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to take our break for the top. It's 1 minute after 8, 2 hours down, less than an hour to go. So We'll take our break to the top of the hour, come back for the third and final hour of the Thursday edition of Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show, for coronavirus testing, stop by any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to any lab test now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had it tested. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took
Oh, my mic? I got the mic too close to my mouth.
for less than 15 minutes, they brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to any lab test now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Well, my health problems are not my knee. I tore something in my knee, you know. I was putting up a ceiling fan and I tore a tendon. So if I'm standing, I'm cool, but if I'm sitting too long, I'm in massive pain like you wouldn't believe. So I wear the knee. I'm not wearing the knee brace now. I was wearing a knee brace yesterday because I was in so much pain. It helps with the pain.
You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. It's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop.
Steve Kane Show. What's your name? Got to speak up.
Creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to...
Have you all liked the video? Make sure you like the video, people, please. That helps a lot.
Seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, third hour has begun. I'm Brian. Steve is here. It's 6 after 8. No, it's Thursday. I wish it was. Yeah. No. Yeah. You know how I keep track of the days? Yeah.
Of course, the weekend, let's just amend it a little bit. The weekend is coming up, and we are, of course, your major source for all news Trump.
Yes.
Donald has anything on it?
No, I haven't heard of anything. Yeah.
They don't make it easy for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I saw this story. I've heard some people talking about this yesterday. Some new poll came out. It says here, 2 in 3 Republicans in the South support seceding from the U.S., or as they said on one of the TV stations, succeeding. 2 in 3 Republicans in the South support seceding from the U.S., and they have a whole story on this. 2/3 of Republicans. I don't believe any of that. You know, Republicans don't want to leave the U.S. They want to make America great again and keep it great again. That's the whole campaign slogan of President Trump. I don't know where they're, you know, their story is getting circulated everywhere, and everywhere you see the story, you'll see a Confederate flag, and they say Republicans were polled in the South, and they say that 2/3 of them want to secede from the Union, and every time you see the story on TV or online or in a newspaper, you always see a Confederate flag. It's part of the mainstream media's thing about painting Republicans as racist Confederates and things like this. Don't buy it, it's a lie. We want to make America great again. We want to keep it great. That's what Trump's campaign slogans are. And his new campaign slogan for 2024, he's already announced it, is Save America. Okay? You know, so no, we don't want to leave the Union. We want to make it better. You know, so don't believe any of these fake news stories out there. These people, they're just low lives on the left. They're just low life people. They got, you know, they're stirring up racial hatred all over the place. It's getting out of control. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Yeah. Yeah, just kind of like your voice. Yes. Oh, my goodness. The guy held on for 25 minutes, people. Yeah. Can you imagine? 25 minutes. You know, yeah, like no job, no girl, no woman, no wife, no girlfriend. Good morning. Good, well, yeah. Or talent. Good morning.
Steve from Pompano.
Kathy in Pompano. What's up?
Hi, good morning, Steve. I just want to give a big shout out to George and his crew over at Soul Authority.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, that's just so nice. And George, you know, he's awesome. He's so humble, and I'm just so pleased with them.
So what did you, now Soul Authority, of course, you know, the Soul Authority is Steve's podiatrist, as well as they handle the therapeutic, the diabetic shoes. What did you call upon the Soul Authority to do for you?
Well, I just wanted them to check my feet because I was having a sore toe, and Dr. White, she took care of me, and
she's the best. They're so nice over there, yeah.
Very, very nice. So I just wanted to just.
Did you go to the office, or did they come to your house? You went there. They do house calls. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate that. The Soul Authority, they do house calls too. Well, thanks so much. No, I don't think so either. No, you do the house calls thing, don't you, Steve? Yeah. Yeah. You know, I don't know what happened to Geraldo Rivera. Was Geraldo, you used to be friends with Geraldo. Was he always a liberal?
So big time.
Really? I don't remember him being so liberal. You know, I don't know. I guess maybe I just tuned him in for other things. But he was on Fox yesterday, and he wants people that are unvaccinated, he doesn't want them to be able to go to stores. He doesn't want their kids to be able to go to school, and he doesn't think they should be able to have jobs either, because the unvaccinated shouldn't be in the workplace. I mean, you know, that doesn't seem like the Geraldo that I grew up with.
But he's desperate to hang on to his job is what.
Oh, to have attention? He's trying to be the token liberal on Fox, and... You know, I mean, you know, well, he's not the only one. Yeah.
And I guess
he's. Oh, you don't think he really believes that? He does, you know. I hear a lot of Democrats talking about. Kathleen Sebelius yesterday was saying that unvaccinated people should not be around children.
This is the whole thing leading up to the.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? COVID is their old playbook, and they keep everything's COVID now. Even everything's COVID. Well, let's go back to the phones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning. Oh, hey, Greg.
Greg, what's up?
Hey, listen. You know, this notion that Donald Trump had anything to do with the invasion of the Capitol, it's outrageous. There's been no evidence whatsoever. But Brian, let me ask you a question, because you said none of these people have settled their cases yet.
I don't know if none of them have, but I saw one guy last night on Greg Kelly. He's an attorney, and his client is a white guy who broke a window with a police shield of the Capitol. And he says he's not even able to have privileged communications. He's not able to meet with his client in jail in private. You know, there's a lot of problems going on.
What's the current status of his case? Does he have a trial date?
No trial date. They won't give him bail. Nothing. There's over 500 cases. I don't know the status of the individual cases.
Last night, did he say he's trying to,
He's trying to get him out on bail. There's no trial date. There's no bail. He can't meet with his client in private to even have a privileged discussion. But you certainly, but what was your question?
Question is, Brian, you kind of, when you talk about these people that invaded, you kind of say, well, they don't
invaded.
They went into a federal building. There's a difference between if you go into a bank or versus a convenience store to commit a crime. Once you up the level into a federal building, we all know that.
Well, I've watched a lot of the footage of the January 6th event. I've watched a lot of it, and it's all online. And one thing I noticed, now obviously some people committed vandalism. This guy whose attorney was on Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax, he broke a window. I mean, I remember,
What in the story, as we know it, as it's been told publicly so far, what's come out, what justifies keeping him in jail with no bail, incommunicado?
For breaking a window is what he did.
That's unconscionable. I agree. He should get.
That's frightening.
It's vandalism.
It is, and what is? I don't know the quality of his attorney, but if people just get denied bail, like a hearing before a judge, and say he's some type of threat, does he have a record? I don't know, but it's highly.
Well, it's not just him. It's not just him. But here's the thing, Greg. If you watch the footage, okay, if you watch it inside the building, and this came up during the House hearings on it too, but I've seen it on CNN and elsewhere. No doubt about it, some people committed vandalism, broke windows. I remember kids breaking windows and stuff with baseballs and things when I was a kid. But when they walked through the Capitol Rotunda, they were walking between the velvet rope line. You know what I mean? They were obeying like where you're supposed to go and all this stuff when they're in line and everything. This was not an invasion. It was maybe trespassing and a little bit of vandalism.
There's some other crimes they're being charged with. But where are Republican conservative, by the way?
They're trying to screw Trump, Kevin McCarthy. They're like you. They're fake MAGA.
Where are these attorneys that are criminal law attorneys, outstanding conservative ones, representing people, getting them out on bail? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it does, because the attorneys that you're talking about make their living practicing law with these big shot D.C. and New York media establishment and political establishment people, and these top tier lawyers won't represent the Capitol breachers because they won't get any clients in the Beltway in the future. So they got to go to third-rate attorneys.
We're we're on the same level, though. What do you think here, Brian?
No, we're not on the same level. We're not on the same level.
Yes, we are. What do you think they should be? Do you think they should go to prison, these individuals?
There's various crimes for different people. I think this guy last night, he broke a window with a police shield that he found laying on the ground. That's vandalism. Usually with I never broke a window on purpose, but I had friends that did when I was a kid. And typically, when someone breaks a window, even on a government building like a school, they get a fine and have to pay for the replacement cost of the window. Never heard it. Yeah.
The fact that it's about time for this guy to get a court date
and get out on bail for vandalism.
Exactly.
I agree, but Brian, you didn't answer my question.
I did answer it, just not the answer you wanted.
No. I'm asking you, do you think he should go to prison?
Oh, no. For breaking a window? No.
Window in the state capitol?
It was the U.S. Capitol, not the state capitol.
That's capital, I apologize.
No, I don't think you should go to prison for breaking a window.
Do you think any of those people should?
Maybe. You'd mean that, like the cop that shot Ashley Babbitt, perhaps?
Now you're pressing against the cops.
No, not the cops. A cop. You got an unarmed woman who's committing maybe trespass, maybe vandalism. So she's trespassing. She might have been vandalizing something, and he shot her dead in the chest.
Was that excessive force in my estimation?
Oh, now he's asking himself the questions. Now you're asking yourself the question. When you ask yourself the questions, you get the answer you want. That's interesting.
You know what, Brian? Me and you and Steve would have never entered the Capitol. We would have never done it. These people, I don't know what their issues were, but they were.
Well, some of them, were shown the way in by the Capitol Police that opened up the barricades.
Right. If I show you the way to commit a crime, are you going to just follow me? No.
Well, some of the people were caught up in the crowd, and and you're in a herd. If you don't go, you get stomped on.
Excuses for these people. What they did was reprehensible. They should pay a price, and you won't come out and say it because No.
No, that's not true. This guy broke a window. He should get a fine, have to pay for the window.
And entered the state, well, technically I'm saying the state capital, the capital of our United States government without, you just can't.
I said trespass. Yeah, sure, trespass. Absolutely.
Misdemeanor and like a slap on the wrist.
Some of them. It depends on what they did in there. I mean, the guys that went inside the chamber and went through the desks of the senators that I saw, that's different.
Yeah, that's why what's missing here is a dick.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's a single person out there, because we have a very reasonable audience.
Steve Kane Show.
I can't believe there's a person out there that
Hey, Barry, hold on.
agree that tomorrow.
Exactly. And as an attorney, I'm sure you agree with that, Greg.
That's why I'm shocked by it. That was the main reason I called. So this attorney just says they're not allowing him a court date with.
He has no court date. He can't even meet with his client in private to have a privileged conversation. No.
You heard of that, Greg?
Attorney confidentiality. And you know what? I'm shocked by it. But sooner or later, they're going to.
I'm shocked, but all right, take care. Now we're just 5 days away. I'm shocked, but I don't care because I don't like them. We're 5 days away from Attorney Barry Siegel's free retirement planning workshop. We have Attorney Barry Siegel on the line. Hey, Barry.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing all right. Yeah, 5 days away from your first estate planning workshop since COVID hit.
We're very excited about it. We're happy to get out and see everyone and give people the opportunity to get educated and understand why it's so important to make sure that you have a plan, to make sure that you have your affairs in order, to leave a legacy for your loved ones in a way that it's protected, avoid probate, protect your assets during your lifetime from the cost of long-term care, and many other topics that we'll be covering. And we may have a seat or two remaining. When you call and you try to make your reservation, if you can't get into this one, then we do have seminars scheduled for August, and our staff will get.
Yeah, now this one here, seating is limited. It's a free workshop. Attorney Barry Siegel will be there with his staff to answer your questions. Free consultations, of course, for listeners with the Siegel Law Group always. But Barry is offering a special benefit for those of you that attend this workshop, which is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Can you tell them what you're offering them, Barry, for attending this workshop?
And who want to proceed further to come in for their free consultation, they will receive a certificate for $500 off any living trust plan.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's a free workshop. You get to ask questions, you get free consultation, and save $500 off of your estate planning. That's amazing. Listen, it's Tuesday, July 20th, 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Call Attorney Barry Siegel's office, make your reservation, reserve your seat. They'll give you detailed directions on how exactly where it is if you're not familiar with it. And the number over there is 855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Take care. You know, that's the first time Barry's ever offered that kind of deal, so you guys want to definitely take advantage. You know, this thing with the call from Greg, too, you know, now that we have context on what happened and didn't happen on January 6th, this was not an insurrection. The government's charged no one with insurrection. And we now know that the people that breached the Capitol did not kill anyone. Originally, when this happened, they were being blamed for the death of a police officer. We found out that that was not true. And we also know for a fact now that no one was armed. And I don't know, 30 minutes after the event started, an hour at most, they all left willingly. They weren't even ushered out by authorities. So, you know, we know more about what happened today than we did on January 6th, 7th, and 8th. And what it is now is vandalism, maybe some breaking and entering, I don't know, trespassing for most of them. Breaking and entering for the ones that broke the window and crawled through and opened the door, but most people it's a simple trespass. And that, I mean, I've known people that have been trespassed. I've never known anyone to go to jail for trespassing. That's just me. I've known people that have committed vandalism. I don't know anyone that's gone to jail for vandalism either. You know, so, you know, I'm not a lawyer. You have to talk to Mark Levin about the details of that stuff. Good morning, you're on the radio. Yes, what's your name?
I called you yesterday, and you told me to call.
Oh, you're the Cuban exile lady.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we got an update. We have Floridians are traveling with their own boats, taking supplies to Cuba, and one of them, in the first interview when they were completely forthcoming, said, we're taking food, we're taking water, we're taking medical supplies, and guns. They left out the guns in the follow-up interviews. But we're in a situation now where we're going to have Americans arrested by the Cuban military off the coast of Cuba, and I don't know what would happen to them if they're apprehended.
Many years, because like I told you yesterday, I've been here 15 years, and I have seen them all the time. This is a game that the regime plays, but this time we really don't want them to just take boats or rocks or whatever and start coming over here, because they're going to die at sea. We don't want that. It's too many already. Very.
Well, I was watching on the local news. The local news here in Miami, they're covering this stuff. And by the way, thanks for the call. These boats people are taking are like weekend boats that you just hang out with and go water skiing in. Some of them, it's a dangerous trip. 90 miles from Key West is pretty far, and Key West is way the hell south of Miami. Let's take some more calls. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
In Ohio.
Hey, Jim. What's up?
Just made a correlation. You know, there is precedent for this Capitol invasion.
No, there's no. Good morning. You're on the radio. All right, Wisconsin Gary.
Yeah, it's been a while because things have been happening left and right here, so I've been kind of off of everything. But to get to Greg, too, over there, I think he kind of forgets that there's laws of the land. Now, with those that are being detained because of January 6th, and not being able to have counsel or anything there present, they're violating their constitutional rights. But if somebody broke a window, there's laws of the land for that.
Correct.
Property and everything else. That's the one thing he seems to forget.
Well, and it's scary. Greg too is an attorney. Can you imagine? He's an attorney.
And he should know that. But all of a sudden, he just flips around and thinks, "Oh, only for thee, but not for me." So I mean, he's kind of, his rhetoric is just. Well,
there's Gary. A couple of things I think has happened with these people. They've kept them in jail for 6 months. Many of them are in solitary confinement. And they have no trial dates. And what has happened is they've their original plan was to have 500 trials going on at the same time before the midterm elections, and and on the screen have MAGA on trial. And what they've realized since is that most of these people committed minor crimes like trespassing and vandalism, and no one had weapons. And they're putting off these trials because they can't get convictions on what they want to convict them on. So, so they don't. So the government doesn't know. The Biden administration doesn't know what to do with these people now.
It's like none of these people had any weapons. So I mean, that's the one thing I think is stumped with the Biden administration.
Yeah.
Is because nobody had weapons.
And if they start going to trial with these people, they are going to find that, they're going to be probation, slap on the wrist, court cost, replacement cost for a window or for a sign, and they're going to get convictions on misdemeanors, and it's and it's not they don't know what to do, and what they're doing is they're sitting around just biding their time, trying to figure out how to get out of this conundrum they're in, quagmire they're in.
I just had to put my 2 cents in. Everyone have a.
Well, you've got 2 more cents than Greg too, and he's an attorney. All right, take care. Wisconsin Gary, Steve, he's a truck driver, 18-wheeler. Yeah, he listens to us while he's driving his truck. And I didn't realize, do you know that he has, all the truck drivers have a computer that monitors their driving time, and the alarm goes off when they have to pull over on the side of the road because they can only drive a certain number of hours at a time. And that's some control. I don't know how these guys do their jobs. Back in the old days, they didn't have any computers. They just drove until they got to their destination, and they didn't need sleep. Now they got all this regulated rest they got to take and everything else. It's being a truck driver is a tough.
Driving a car, beyond a certain.
I don't like driving. When I go to Orlando, that's my limit. That's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours in the car is enough. I couldn't drive. I remember there was back in the 80s. When I was in high school and I worked at Publix, there was the truck drivers would come, from the company. And I remember this one guy that drove the egg truck, right? Delivered the eggs. Well, he delivered the eggs from the egg farm to all the stores. It could have been about him, yeah. And he was working like 100 hours a week. And he wasn't complaining. He didn't have any computer in his rig, he had eggs to deliver, and when he delivered all the eggs, he went home and went to bed. Not all this stuff that you drive a couple hours and you got to pull over for 8 or however long. It's too much government involved in everything. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Our number, toll free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them? Or damage and give you the information and tools you need when you call your insurance company.
It's a troll fest.
Best results. Tom Laporta has the experience to help guide you through terrible times like these. So again, before you call anyone else when damage strikes, call Tom Laporta. This number rings directly to his cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Online, LaportaContracting.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back. 34 minutes after 8. I'm Brian. Steve Kane here. It's the Steve Kane Show. There's this story, it's all over the place, about Sharon Osbourne and what happened to her on that show, The Talk. And, she left the show. Remember, they accused her of being a racist a few months ago, and she left over. And I like Sharon Osbourne. She's Ozzy Osbourne's ex-wife. And I grew up with Ozzy Osbourne. I like Ozzy Osbourne, and she actually saved Ozzy Osbourne's life. When she met Ozzy Osbourne and became his manager and agent and everything, he was on death's door with all the drugs. She's the one that stopped him biting the heads off the bats and everything. But there's a new story. You'll see it all over the news today. Leaked hot mic moment reveals Sharon Osbourne's racist scandal was planned. You're going to hear a lot of people today talk about this Sharon Osbourne hot mic moment, and you're going to see it played on TV. I don't have the audio to play for you right now. I'm not going to play it for you. It's not important, really. Sharon Osbourne is no victim. When she left that show, they paid her $10 million, CBS, when she left that show over this racism charge. So, if you want to fire me and pay me $10 million, I'm not going to call myself a victim. I'm going to be at the beach. Okay, and every one of these stories, they don't mention that they gave her $10 million, okay, when she left that show. So she is
pretty anxious to get rid of her.
Well, it seems like she made a good deal. She negotiated that. I can't remember. She was defending Piers Morgan's right to criticize Harry and Meghan, the prince and the princess, that are whining to Oprah. Yeah. I mean, free speech. And, she negotiated this. Just like this guy from The Bachelor, they accused him of racism. It didn't. Because she has a black woke co-host who was accusing her of being a racist, because you can't criticize black people. Any criticism of someone who's like if you correct your children, Steve, you're a racist by this new standard. My daughter, I can't tell my daughter anything. I can't correct her or anything. That's invoking white privilege, So, that's what it is. But they paid her $10 million. Okay, so she's no victim. She's okay, and she was already rich. She had all the Ozzy Osbourne divorce settlement money. Okay, so don't worry about Sharon Osbourne. She's probably very happy. She got $10 million, and she didn't have to work there anymore. You know what I mean? So she's doing well. By the way, there's another story on race. Every story is about race today. You know the actress that played the wife of the coach in Friday Night Lights? You know what I'm talking about? She's been on other stuff too, but she gave an interview. She has a black son, and she gave an interview about how difficult it is raising a black child in America today. And I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. And she lives in woke Hollywood, California. What do you mean it's difficult for her black son to live his life in woke Hollywood, California, in a wealthy neighborhood with all liberal Hollywood elites because she's been acting for so long on hit television shows? I mean, my goodness, these people. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning. Once, twice. Okay, they're gone. Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of that today. You know, the liberals, they're losing it. No, he was not just coming on. He was trying to time his. He was trying to time out his obscenities, and he didn't. Well, exactly. He was just a little off on his timing, but it's the summer of Trump. The Biden administration is collapsing. They have a humanitarian crisis about to happen here in Florida with Cuba. Did you see? With Cuba? Oh yeah, oh yeah. One of these Americans that are taking their boat down there with supplies and guns to the island are going to get picked up by the Cubans, probably. And when they get picked up by the Cubans, Biden's got some explaining to do. What's he going to do? Let the Cubans keep the American citizen? It's happening, Steve. They were stopped by the Coast Guard. They got caught. But you know how these Cuban exiles are. They don't let that stop them. They're going to go down there and help their brothers. Well, there was not a confrontation yet, but they're going to be heading down there. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name?
I'm from New York.
Oh, hey, Jim.
So maybe it is difficult for that actress to raise her black son because a lot of black people are being brainwashed nowadays, and maybe her son has some animosity or hatred toward her now.
Maybe. I can't remember the name of the actress. You know who I'm talking about? She was the wife on Friday Night Lights. She was in one of the 911 shows. Yeah, I can't remember her name either. But how can it be tough for her son to be black in liberal Hollywood, in a rich liberal Hollywood neighborhood? Aren't they all liberal, woke people?
I know, right? It's amazing, isn't it? Probably, I'm sure she's got 7 figures. I don't even know who she is. But
oh yeah, she. I'm trying to look up the article because I can't remember her name, so I can give her name. She was in a very good FX miniseries, Dirty John, as well. She was the woman in Dirty John, which was a true story about a wealthy woman that got wrapped up with this con artist guy. She's very wealthy actress, very successful. I just can't imagine. So is she telling us that these liberals in Hollywood discriminate against African American men? I'm confused.
Well, let me throw something in there because this is something I've had real life experience with. What happens is the problems that you can run into as a teenage black student or whatever.
Yeah. I doubt there's many other blacks in her neighborhood. She's a liberal.
But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Obtuse, right?
Yeah.
White lib was in a gated community with the walls. Very difficult life, difficult upbringing. But again, I'm being facetious in a way. I'm making a tongue-in-cheek comment. Maybe again the sorry about that.
Connie Britton. I looked up the story. Connie Britton is her name, and she says I'm going through my own reckoning, raising a black son in America. That was her quote. A reckoning.
What do you?
Steve, everybody is biracial now. Everywhere I go, every couple is biracial. Black girl, white guy. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't think they do anymore. I think they used to.
Very close friend. He's in an interethnic marriage. He's married. He's white. She's black. He had a debate with somebody, a black woman, about politics, and the woman didn't know that he has an he has a black wife. So in the middle of it, or toward the end of the thing, he said, well, wait a minute, how can she accuse him of being a racist because he's a Trump supporter? He said, well, wait a minute, I have a black wife.
Jacqueline, $10 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Jacqueline.
Silence for
oh, yeah.
And then she said, oh, you can still be a racist even though you have a black wife.
Oh, yes, because remember Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings and all that. Steve's right. The only racism that my daughter has encountered is from other blacks, and there was, I'll tell you 2 quick things that happened that are minor, but I was driving my daughter when my daughter was in school. She's 22 now, but when she was in school, I was driving her and one of her friends somewhere to the mall or something, and her friend's black, and they were talking about a play that was being done at school where they had casted a black student to play the son, and he had white parents in the play because the other students are white. And she says, it doesn't make sense. They're white, he's black, you know. And my daughter says, well, I'm black and my parents are white. She forgot I was white driving the car. You know, I'm like driving Miss Daisy here, you know. And I've heard some subtle things that are mild like that over the years. And you see it now with what's going on. The racism in our society is about 98% coming from black people. Very little of it from white people today.
Weezy displaying it on a regular basis here on your show.
Yeah, she went really over the line the other day. I mean, she hasn't called back in a while because I think she even was embarrassed when she was wishing me dead.
It really is.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jim from New York, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. No. Gotta be quicker. Gotta be quicker. All right. He was speaking about MyPillow, so I'll take the opportunity to talk about MyPillow. We'll take a break. And, I've got this new commercial of my wife, Kathy, talking about our MyPillow mattress topper. Since the caller reminded me, it's time for that spot. Anyway, we'll be right back, and when we return, it'll be time for the Gold Report. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on Politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on Politics.
Hey, Western New York.
Noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there. Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience.
Steve Kane Show.
Low mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking
Yeah.
up in pain almost every morning for
Hold on.
years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up, no pain, I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me, and the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free MyPillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, it is that time that all of us look forward to each day on the Steve Kane Show, the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, one of the leading experts in dealing with precious metals of all types, one of the most knowledgeable people really in the country, if not the world. And each day we're lucky to have William here. He gives us the opening prices on gold this morning and the closing prices on yesterday. A good way to follow gold if that's what you're into. William, what's it looking like?
Gold had a nice day yesterday, up $20. Gold moving up as high as $1,832 an ounce, and then closing at $1,827.30. That was up $20 on continued inflation fears, and inflation certainly showing up in almost everywhere. Silver up 26 cents yesterday, closing at $26.23 the ounce, while platinum was up $22 at $1,122, and palladium was up $2 at $27.66. This morning we got a little bit of a pullback, as might be expected, with gold at $1,824 the ounce. That's down $3.30 right now. Silver unchanged at $26.23. Platinum down $2 at $1,120, and palladium down $25 at $27.41. Oil hanging around $72 a barrel. The dollar is slightly higher this morning, and Bitcoin down over $1,000 at $31,670. So the markets continue to say gold is the commodity to hold, especially in an inflationary society or world in which we live.
Oh my goodness, that Bitcoin, that's scary.
Jewelry that you don't want anymore, that maybe it's broken or something, instead of having it lay around in that jewelry box, keep the cash for it. Steve Kane listeners all get free appraisals on any of their collectibles or precious metals, and we'll pay you cash on.
Yeah. Well, if you want to give William Youngerman's store a call, they open up at 10 a.m. weekdays. The number 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, and located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. Augustino, good morning. Well, every day at this time is the time for the gold report, yes. Well, I do know this. Okay, I do know this. When we first met William Youngerman, Steve and I, it was about 15, 16 years ago. It was whenever Hurricane Wilma was. It was right after Hurricane Wilma. I remember that well because, for some reason. And when we went over there, gold was just over $400 an ounce. It was like $425 an ounce or something. And you were telling me, you better buy gold today, Brian. You better buy gold. And I said, Steve, it's been around. How much higher can it? And here we are now, right? So it's, and you heard that thing. I know. I felt like Albert Brooks in Defending Your Life every time I tell that story. And that Bitcoin, oh my goodness! If I was a Bitcoin guy, I'd be physically ill right now hearing that. $1,000 in a damn day. I mean, what the hell? I don't know what people are involved in that stuff for. No, what's going on right now with this country, we are in a very, very frightening spot because we don't have a leader, really. I mean, Biden's so checked out. I mean, he's out of it. I was talking about this yesterday when you weren't here, Steve. I watched Biden walk to Air Force One across the tarmac the other day. And I don't really spend too much time watching Biden, but I saw him, and it was a full-body video of a very long walk. His legs were skinnier than that 18-year-old actress they brought to the White House yesterday. okay? And he was really having a hard time walking. His feet were moving in such a strange way. It was almost like a dance. He was having a very difficult time walking. It was very weird. He's not well. And because he's not well, we don't have an active president, right? I mean, he's not involved in the day-to-day operations of America. You saw this story of the Iranian plot to kidnap this journalist in New York City. You think the guy was asking about it. You think the Iranians would have launched a kidnapping plot in New York if Trump was in the White House? Hell no. That would have been the end of it. That's a problem. They never would have pulled crap like that if Trump was in office. It would have been over for him. And they did it, and they stopped it, right? She wasn't kidnapped, but the plot would not have even happened. They have no fear of this country right now. That's how 9/11 happened, right? Because Al-Qaeda attacked the coal, they attacked our embassies in Africa. There was no response, right? And then they built up, and then boom, 9/11 happened because they thought America was weak and wouldn't respond. This Iranian kidnap plot, the cyber attacks that Russia's doing, on these different companies and everything we hear about all the time. There's no fear of the United States now. We're at the weakest point that this country has been in my lifetime. And that's why these things are when that kidnapping plot came out of New York yesterday, did you see any of that on TV, Steve, yesterday? I mean, I've never seen something like that. It was the Iranian intelligence service that did this. So this is direct orders of the Iranian government. No way they would have pulled a stunt like that Biden just loosened up on some of the embargo against them by letting them import Iranian. He shut down our pipelines, right? But he's allowing Iranian oil to be imported in greater amounts now into the United States. After they pulled this crap in New York, this is frightening.
Has come to shove with this budget deal.
Yeah. 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 Oh my goodness, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's even scarier is that they know what they're doing. Right? I mean, that's even scary. Well, let's check in with Richard Pearl. His show, Richard Pearl on Politics, airs on our radio stations weekdays at noon. Well, the thing about Richard Pearl goes in late often because the store is open till 9 p.m., but you're there long after 9 p.m. most nights, Richard Pearl.
We're a busy store, and people like what we do, and we're cutting edge, and that word is kind of almost...
Well, at Simply Natural, Richard Pearl and his staff, it's not one of these places where you walk in and, okay, I want these vitamins and I want this and that. They're actually available for consultation. And Richard Pearl and whoever is there when he's not there, they take the time to talk to you about why you're in the store and what you need, what you don't need, I
got to say, I've had the same staff for over 20 years. Nobody has that, and we're a very special store. We're dealing with a lot of things that other stores can't deal with. Just passionate.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing, too, about Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, which is located in Sunrise. My personal experience, it's just my experience, I'm a big supplement guy. I don't like to take prescription medications, and I find it's simply natural. There is an all-natural alternative pretty much to any prescription my doctor tells me I need. And the thing I love about supplements, no side effects, unless it's a positive side effect. Prescription medications, especially those statins that they always want to prescribe me, always have side effects. And I find that nutraceutical supplements do not.
Quickly, if someone's taking a statin, they should consider taking red yeast rice or some other things that we have at the store. But also, if they are taking a statin, they should be on ubiquinol, because statins cut the production of ubiquinol liver, and that has a major impact on your heart health and cardiovascular health in general.
Listen, if you have any questions, call the store, all right? They open up weekdays, well, actually 7 days a week, at 11 a.m. and are open till 9 p.m., 7 days a week. The number over there, 954-741-4045. And Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, as I said, is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University Drive. And Richard Pearl's show, Richard Pearl on Politics, on our radio stations, weekdays at noon. Have a great show today, and we'll talk tomorrow to finish out the week. Richard Pearl, check him out at noon. All right, that's it for today, Steve. That's right. One more day of work, Steve. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Boom. All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Before you go, make sure you like the video. If you don't mind, like the video. That's the most important thing you can do to help me. Because that's how YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, recommends this video to other people that, well, think like us, is by those likes. So don't leave without liking the video. And make sure you like all my videos every time you watch one, because it has the same effect. I got to take off, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you